This is Instructional Design Tips with your host, Laura Wingler.
Today I want to talk to you about setting up the online component of your face-to-face, high-flex, or hybrid course. I want to preface with letting you know that before I was an instructional designer, my course shelves for my face-to-face courses were a hot mess. I had files with no naming conventions all over the place. My grade book was not set up properly. Assignments weren't labeled in any way that makes sense to anybody but me. And I probably had a lot of confused students trying to follow along with what I thought was super helpful resources. As we all know, providing students with organized and accessible resources is essential for their success. A well-structured online environment can significantly enhance student learning and their experience and help them stay on track with their coursework. So the first thing I want to talk about is the importance of organized resources. Let's just start with why organization matters. Students benefit greatly from having resources and materials that are easy to find and navigate. By setting up a well-organized online component, you'll help reduce confusion and allow students to focus on learning rather than struggling to locate all of their course materials. A clear structure not only supports their success, but also fosters a more engaging and efficient learning environment. Whichever LMS you use, just organize your content by weeks or modules or units or whichever way makes sense. Make sure you place all of your relevant resources, assignments, discussions within these organized sections. Then you'll want to upload and label any files clearly. When uploading files or documents, just make sure that they're named descriptively, such as Week 1, reading assignment, Week 2, quiz, Week 3, resource. This really helps students identify the purpose of each file and why it's there and what they're supposed to do with it. Utilize the tools within your LMS. For example, Canvas has a modules area that you can set everything up in a nice sequence with the content logically. You can set up clear navigation to let students know where to go for each part of their coursework. Redundancy is going to be key. In course design, whether it may be an online course, the online resources or shell that accompany your face-to-face course, your hybrid course, high flex, or even your course syllabus and outline that could live in a Word document or PDF, redundancy is essential. This means repeating key information and maintaining consistency throughout the course. When students know where to find the same types of information in each module or week, they can navigate the course more easily. Redundancy in layout and structure help students predict where they'll find specific information and instructions and materials, making their learning experience much smoother. With that said, if your institution provides you with some kind of template in your LMS, you should use it. Not because it's the best template ever, but because it will help students navigate their materials when everyone is doing something similar. Next, naming conventions. Naming conventions play a crucial role in keeping everything organized. Consistent naming of files, modules, assignments helps students understand what each component is, and it ensures that they're not confused by different terms. For example, if you name a module Week 1, Introduction to Topic, make sure all related assignments and materials follow a similar format, such as Week 1 Assignment 1, Week 1 Reading Material, Week 1 Resource. If you're asking students to read a chapter, for example, and you just call it a chapter. When we start writing CH, or sometimes we get really lazy and we write C and then a P instead of page, it gets so confusing for students to follow, because while that makes sense in our head that CH means chapter, consider that students don't all have the first language being English, and they might not know what that means because it's an abbreviation that they don't recognize and it might not be universally understood. So this consistency really helps students connect with what they see online with what they're learning in class. Consistency with classroom terminology. Another aspect here is to align your online component with the terminology you use in your class. If you refer to a specific topic or concept with a particular name in your face-to-face lecture, use that same name for online resources and assignments. Don't call it something else. This alignment reduces cognitive load for students, and it helps them make connections between their in-person and online learning experiences. So overall, just really consider what you're doing and how students would perceive it. Try to put yourself in their shoes and try to just consider that they might not be able to understand all these abbreviations and things that you're using that you think make perfect sense. So just focus on organization, redundancy, and consistency, and you'll create an online environment that supports and enhances student learning. Your efforts in setting up a well-structured online component will make a significant difference in your students' ability to manage their coursework effectively. I know it's more work, but it'll pay off in the long run for your students. Thank you for watching and happy teaching.